Welcome to the fourth edition of the Guru Mantra podcast. And here is your host, Guru Charan Kumar. Today, we have a student guest speaker from the ESS subject, Kamya Agarwal, who scored 42 points in the IB board exam. Wow, that's a brilliant. But honest, hold on, she also achieved 7 out of 7 in the final ESS exam. Brilliant. Kamya is a driven individual with a clear vision for the success, diligently working towards her goal in BP. I have personally seen in 2 years the way she achieved the mark 42. Every day she followed each and every step. She is also a caring student, always ready to empathy with the support her peers. Without a doubt, she possesses a maturity, any challenges that come her way. Kamya, welcome to the Guru Mantra podcast, and please introduce yourself with the audience.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me on your podcast. It's an honor. So, myself, Kamya Agarwal, I completed my IB Diploma Programme from Pathways World School, Gurgaon, and scored 45 points in total with a 7 in ESS. I also scored 3 bonus points with an A in both TOK and extended essay. I will be pursuing my undergraduate education at Babson College in the United States of America in business administration, specifically entrepreneurship and finance. Apart from academics, I like to read books, dance, and swim in my free time as my hobbies.
Brilliant. So, Kamya, we are going to go one by one, first paper 1, paper 2. I will start with the paper 1. Can you tell what key skill did you develop to enhance while preparing for the paper 1, and how did you contribute that particular skill to your success?
So for paper 1, I would say time management was the most important skill I enhanced.
Excellent.
Because we have to answer around 12, 13 questions, including a 6 marker within 1 hour, while also reading a research booklet, which is around 20 pages long. So completing paper 1 within the time frame, it required a lot of time management from my side. So that skill, I would say, was the most important.
Everyone time management place. I still remember your handwriting. Sometimes I have to doubt, is it your handwriting or you literally typed it? Audience, please note, she has a gifted handwriting. Okay. So Kamya, can you tell what are the benefits of using the past paper to study for the ESS paper 1? And how students make the most effective use of the past paper? Because I believe, I've seen every time you focus on the past paper, you write and give the feedback. Maybe that is one of the reasons how do you achieve the 7. So could you tell benefits of using the past paper and how student can use it effectively?
Yes, I would say past papers were the most important resource to prepare for paper 1. Firstly, reading the resource booklets gives a very good idea about the type of information IB gives, whether it's in the form of charts, diagrams, or statistical data, and also the follow-up questions with it, especially for the 6 marker question because it holds 17 percentage out of 21 in paper 1. So it is very important to go through the marking schemes to have a clear understanding of what IB expects in the answer. Even in the 3-4 marker questions, sometimes I would end up answering only one side of the questions, but when I looked at the marking scheme, IB had given both sides. So in that situations, I ended up losing marks. And to prepare and to master that skill to score well, it required a lot of practice from my side. So, and also one important thing that when I practiced past papers, one thing I made sure was to set a timer because the time given is very less. It's just 1 hour. Even though it seems like, oh, it's just a 35 mark paper, but the amount of reading to be done and then answering the questions ends up taking a lot of time. So practicing past papers with a timer was very important and the most important for me.
A good one. I never heard it. Practicing past with the timer. Fantastic. Okay, Kamya, writing precise and accurate terms is essential for scoring the high mark in the paper 1 because paper 1 is all about your terms. Paper 2, you write your story, you may get the answer. But paper 1 is not like that. So what advice can you offer your students, especially DP1, on how to craft a perfect answer or terms, understanding topic for the ESS paper 1?
Yes, I would 100% agree that writing precise is very important. Firstly, to save time, because as I mentioned, we only get 1 hour. So you can't write stories in paper one. You have to be very specific with your answers. Secondly, if we look at the IB marking schemes carefully, it gives two, three correct answers for every question, but they are very specific words. So if you miss out on that specific word, you won't get the mark. For example, if the question is something related to eutrophication and you write chemicals, but not nitrates and phosphates, you won't get the mark. So reading the content really well, understanding the concepts, in so for that you need to like write very precisely to score marks.
Oh, that's a brilliant. You given the perfect example, which we always use in the class. Correct. So, okay,
Yes.
last one, Kamya, in paper 1. Can you tell any two general tips DP1 students or DP2 students studying for the ESS paper 1 effectively for the board exam from your experience?
Two tips I would say is time yourself while practicing and make sure you go through the marking schemes really well, because as I said, two, three answers are correct. So even if you get one right, it's fine. So like going through the marking schemes and not just solving the paper, but also going thoroughly through the marking scheme. And also look at the answers which IB is not accepting. So you know what not to write.
Yes, that's the important one, which you always insist. What is not IB is expecting from the marking scheme. That's a good one. Okay, let's move on to the paper 2, Kamya. Kamya, I still remember how you write a well-crafted answer. Especially, I cannot forget your end of semester board examination. Out of 40 marks, there are certain times you got 38, 39. Uh, you give exactly what is in the marking scheme. That is God's gift for you. So, what factors should be considered when selecting essay question paper 2, especially from your side, especially writing a 9-mark question? How
Yes.
one can ensure measure a well-rounded coverage of the syllabus and selecting the essay question? From your experience, could you explain?
Yes, I would say the essay questions should be selected on the basis of how confident you are about the unit. There are 8 units in the entire syllabus, and you should at least be fully thorough with 5 to 6 units out of them to score well in the essay questions. For 9 markers, as sir, you also always said, we need 18 points, including a very good real life example. So if you are sure that you can write 18 points along with a good real life example, then you should select that question. Also, not just selecting the essay question based on the 9 marker, because even if you write the 9 marker really well, you will get 8 or 9 marks. But if you skip 4 and 7 marker, you will end up losing 11 marks. So look at the entire question and then select on the basis of your knowledge and the content you can write.
Excellent. Kamya, can you tell what are some effective way to practice and improve the essay writing skill? How did you improve it? And give me some tips to the DP student also.
Yes. Firstly, I would say it is very important to practice, very natural to panic and stress. So if you practice beforehand, you will be confident and able to attempt all questions easily. Effective ways are to create a mind map, as sir, you only gave that suggestion, because and to make bullet points and just so that you know what all to cover in the answer and you don't miss out on any point, because the time frame is also like to be taken under consideration. So just list all the important points, create a mind map in like just a minute or two. Don't take a lot of time. And then with the help of my mind maps, I could also ensure my answers were in a proper structure with a well developed analysis.
That's the two words, mind map. I still remember your mock exam. You are given a rough sheet with all the mind maps, which I cannot forget at all. Okay, so Kamya, what skill do you find the most important to develop in order to excel in paper 2? There are a lot of skills you need it. Okay, database question, essay question,
Yeah.
but you got a 7 in both the papers. So according to you, what is the important skill you every students have to develop to excel in a paper 2?
For paper two, I would say writing skill because it is a very lengthy paper. And most of us today are used to typing. So I would recommend writing notes in class and then also regularly practicing by writing and not typing so that you are in the habit of writing. Secondly, revising the content regularly and from the book and also from the subject guide, the pointers which IB gives in the subject guides and the application skill questions. Those are very important because a pattern I noticed over the years and in my board exams also, the question has something to do with the application skill question. So if you just practice those, you would be like well prepared for paper two.
Excellent. That's a bullseye point. Practicing the application skill question, which many teachers, even students, don't follow it up. Kamya, for as an examiner, teachers, students always say time management in paper two for 2 hours. There are some students will take for the two essay question, they take 1 hour 40 minutes, last 50 minutes they complete the database question. So time management is crucial for paper two. What advice would you give for effectively managing your time for the paper two? How did you manage effectively in paper two?
Yes. For paper two, I would always recommend to start with essay-based questions because they are for 40 marks out of 65. And as sir, you also recommended 35 minutes for each essay questions and 45 minutes for data-based questions. And then you should leave last 5 minutes to revise. Revising and going through the paper is very, very important because in such a long paper, there are chances that you might make mistakes. So leave the last 5 minutes for revising and then make sure you are done with the essay questions in 1 hour, 10 minutes, or like 1 hour, 15 minutes at max, so that you have enough time for database also.
Excellent. During the examination also, we have to follow time management. Brilliant advice, Kamya. Let's move on to the last part of IA. Kamya, I still remember your first draft of IA, your last draft of the IA. And still remember how did you come up with your unique research question and measuring the rainfall pattern and then taking the growth of the rice. It's a unique secondary data research question. So can you tell me how Guru sir's feedback, because I believe I have given more than for you 10 feedback. Before 1 week also we are working on IA. So how Guru sir feedback and ESS Guru Mantra website help you to achieve a 7 in ESS IA?
So your constant feedback helped me a lot to improvise on my IA and score well. You gave me feedback criteria wise and in a lot of details, which give me clarity and ensured that I completed my IA on time. And it was a smooth process. I didn't like panic in any situation because I knew you would be available to give me feedback at any point and whenever I need your help. And ESS Guru Mantra has a lot of sample IAs which I refer to for my IA and take ideas on how to collect data, how to write the evaluation, and the overall format of the IA. So ESS Guru Mantra I refer to a lot for my IA specifically.
Fantastic. And now I'm going to upload your IA, okay, your ESS IA, and the next 4 years, students will refer your ESS IA. So, Kamya, could you discuss the most challenging part of the your ESS IA and how did you overcome it? You must have overcome many things, but could you specific one challenge which you have faced during the ESS IA and how did you overcome?
Yes, for me, the most challenging part of the IA was criteria C, collecting data and doing the mathematical analysis, because I had to ensure that the data I'm collecting is reliable and through a like a reputed website and just directly applicable to my research question. I overcame this challenge by taking your help and watching online videos for the mathematical analysis. And sample IAs also helped me a lot for the mathematical part. So through that, I overcame this challenge. And I also made sure to cross check the data through other websites and whether they have published a similar data. So that would give me clarity that the data is reliable.
Correct. I agree that one because secondary data, collecting the data plays a very important role and you have done it fantastically. So your IA is based on the secondary data, Kamya. So could you explain when using a secondary research for IA, what are some strategy to ensure the validity and the reliability of the data collected?
Yes. Just make sure that the website you are referring to for the data is reliable. Like you like just check the source, like do a bit of research about the source as well, their history with data, and if there is like no issue about the data they publish. And as I said, just cross check it with other websites so you just get clarity that the data is on the similar lines. So through that you can ensure the reliability.
Correct. That's the important part. Kamya, when I was introduced ESSIA in the class till November grade 11, after that, you walked through, we discussed a lot of the topic, we denied, and finally we agreed your topic about
Yes.
rainfall pattern in the wheat and Kerala. Okay. Kamya, can you walk through your planning process from the initial stage to final draft of ESSIA? How did you start and how did you end? Okay. Everyone should know about your pain. I know you were given blood and sweat, okay, for IA. Of course, audience, you will see the ESS Gurumata, but could you walk through your journey?
Yes. In the initial process, I had two, three ideas in mind, and then, sir, with your help, I finalized on a topic which was based on rice production in the state of Kerala and how is it like related to rainfall, how rainfall impacts the production of rice. And I chose that topic because I had enough data to conduct my analysis on and like news articles to refer to for the evaluation part. I also looked at the sample IAs to get an understanding, and it would just like match with my idea, like what I wanted to do in my IA. So through that, I was able to finalize on that topic, and then I worked for my first draft criteria wise. Then through your feedbacks and everything, I was able to complete the draft. I also made sure that I meet every deadline so that I got feedback and I had enough time to work on it because it's just not ESS, we have IAs to do for other five subjects. So I made sure that I finished everything on time. And overall, I would say my IA journey went really smooth and eventually I got the result I wanted. So overall, very happy.
I still remember you are the first student submitted IA in your batch. I know you strictly followed the deadline. That's the reason you are standing with 42 points. So, we have a last couple of questions. Can you tell what is the one factor that makes studying ESS unique and interesting when compared to the other subject?
Yes. I would say ESS has a lot of real life examples and situations to study from as compared to other subjects, as sometimes they used to get way too theoretical, which becomes mundane at times. So the real life situations and the practicality of the subject makes it interesting.
Yes, that's a core of the ESS. So, can you tell how different was your journey in ESS than you expected? Because you came from the non-IB background. Okay, you must have a different experience. But can you tell your journey in ESS than you expected to be in terms of learning and expectation from the subject?
Yes. Studying ESS turned out to be very fruitful for me because I enhanced a lot of skills like research writing, time management, working in groups, etc., which will help me throughout my life. Moreover, learning more about sustainability, which is one of the key ideas of ESS and has become increasingly important in today's time. So, learning about the key ideas and then just personal skills which I gained. So in that way, studying ESS turned out to be very nice and fruitful.
Yes, that's a part of the IB journey. Kamya, it's a brilliant conversation with you about your success in ESS. Not only ESS, your entire 2 years of IB journey. All your experience will be a valuable lesson from many DP students, not only that, even for the ESS student who aspire to achieve 7 in ESS. Kamya, your final words before we close.
Yes. In the end, I would just like to thank you, sir, for supporting me and helping me throughout my IB journey. Your support was like incredibly important for me because there used to be times I used to panic and stress out because there was a lot of work to do. But eventually, I managed to finish all because of your support. And I hope whoever's listening to this podcast was able to gain some insights into my IB journey and specifically ESS. And I just wish them good luck. Thank you so much.
Not something they will get many gains from you. Thank you, audience, for listening to the Guru Mantra podcast with season 4 with your host, Guru Charan Kumar. I hope you enjoyed our deep conversation, dive into all the tips and tricks from Kamya Agarwal about ESS journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the podcast, share it with your others, and post about it on the social media or leave a rating and review. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Kamya, for coming for this particular podcast.
Thank you, sir.